Okay, everyone, I'm back. It is the 11th, but not really. It's the 10th. As I mentioned in the video, which you've watched yesterday, it was time out and it was Sunday and I just felt like spending some time in my craft room. So after I did the video, I finished the little envelope. I went and had breakfast with my husband and I said to him, "You're not going to see me for the rest of the day. I'm going into my craft room and I'm going to have a play with my junk journal July prompts and maybe film another video, maybe two." So this is the 11th prompt, which will appear on the 11th, of course, you know that. So fussy cut. Before we do, I finished the little envelope. So you've probably seen photos yesterday anyway, but I ended up sewing around that and gluing it into position, and that's sort of finished off the envelope itself. I've got my two little tags in there for future journaling, decorating. Who knows what will come of those. I'm trying to restrain myself from finishing it because I sort of need these little elements right through the whole journal so that it's packed, if you know what I mean. And being that I was taking time out and thinking about my needlework and everything I was doing in that area of the journal, I started to sort of think maybe I should have a packing list. So I've written down a few things: a fabric pen, a black pen just for journaling, some needles, some white thread, small scissors, vintage photo, that's for inking around things, a glue stick, art glitter glue, a tear ruler, and my fabric scraps and paper scraps, just in case I can't access anything like that. Well, who knows how the journey would go. If I land straight into Japan, well, I'm sure I'll find all sorts of goodies. But if I've got to make my way there, I might need a few little bits and pieces just to sort of start playing with. So that little list is going to slide into there. So it is waiting for me. And if I think of something in our next few days of doing this journaling, I can, write them down. So I'm pleased I've got that. That's like, when you can't sleep at night and everything's just going round and round and round in your head, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I know you might rest. I tend to, keep going and find it difficult to rest. But I was told years and years ago when I was working for a company and I had a boss above me, and he said to me, to help me switch off and unwind, have pen and paper beside the bed. And it's the best thing to have just a notebook by your bed. So if you're having one of those nights, you can take out your pen and paper, write down everything that's going through your mind, your to-do list for the next day, or just things that you want out of your mind. And then I find I go to sleep straight away. It's like I'm like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You can rest now. It's written down. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm getting sidetracked. So I've just put my little envelope behind me on my little pile of goodies that we've made so far. Fussy cut. Let's get into that. So here's our little ephemera booklet that we had started to make. So where'd we get with that? We've got it covered completely. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So we could do with a pocket here just to, attach bits and pieces to, not attach, slide things into. Yeah, I'm thinking that will work. I might make it the same size. Oh, it is. Look, that's the same size already as the piece underneath. Love it. So I'm just going to ink that. That must have come off the bottom. That's why. Oh, goodness me. So we might as well use it and create just a little pocket. And that can glue there. Love it. Okay. There's nothing pretty on the back of that, so we can definitely glue this side. Am I in camera? Just. So really looking forward to a day in the craft room. I'm going to just focus on my journal, my Japanese journal, and maybe I'll come up with some more stitching. So in one of these prompts coming, that this evening I'll have a piece of needlework. I can also sit down, or this afternoon, sit down in front of the TV and put a movie on. So who knows what will come of these prompts and these little videos. I'm really enjoying it. I've done it sporadically, you know, occasionally grabbed a journal out and completed a spread in a page because there was a prompt that really made me think, you know, especially when you start watching some of the other YouTubers. It's like, oh, I've got that. I haven't played with that for years. And then off you go to the craft room, and someone said to me, going down a rabbit hole. Oh, isn't it? So now I've got a little pocket there that bits can be slid into. Now on the back here, I might do a bit of a side tuck. I've got a little piece. Yeah. That will work. I'll just trim that. I do want to put the stitching line in place. I'm not too worried about that one because it's, yeah, I'm not too worried. But this, it's a shame to cover the stitching line. So what I might do is jump on my sewing machine and actually, can't see my lines, there they are. Jump on my sewing machine and just reinstate that stitching line. I won't stop the video because it'll take me 5 seconds. You will hear the machine, but it's sort of at the other end of my craft table. So bear with me. What would, what's her name? I've just gone blank. Gail from her channel, she'd say, talk amongst yourselves. I love that. I think that's hilarious. Makes me laugh every time. I don't even know if you can hear me, but I'm just on my machine. Okay, I'm back. I don't know who in the group watches Gail's videos, but oh, just bless her, love her. She's such a bird, isn't she? In the nicest way. She's just gorgeous. Okay, so that's looking good. Oh, she's made some, oh look, there's a print on the other side. Do I prefer that? Oh, I like that. Oh, she put some hours into this YouTube channel of hers. Oh my goodness. She's been doing it so long and she's so good at it. She's a bit of an icon. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Gail Gustinelli. She is based in Montana in the US, and her channel is just awesome. She just comes up with ideas constantly. If you're into junk journaling and just junk journaling, she'd be on your list, I'm sure. If you haven't found her, go looking for her. And she is just super funny, super cool. Just I feel like putting a little, no, I won't. I'll leave it at that. So I really enjoy watching Gail. I don't watch every video because I just don't have time, because there's so many great YouTubers out there, and I sort of, yeah, go through phases where I'll tune in to, say, Gail and watch a few of hers for a week or so and then off to someone else. So I'm a little bit sporadic, but that's all right. It just keeps it interesting. Okay, that is great. So I love it. Now, the next thing we want to do is we need pages inside to hold more bits and pieces. Now, they're not going to be decorated like this, so I'm sort of finished with that piece. So let me grab this one here and just refresh my memory on how it's done. So if you did want the measurements of what I'm doing next, go looking for my video. Oh, I don't even know what day it was. Let me grab my phone and just have a look. I can't remember. I'm just leaving those there. That one is the measurements for all of the card and the tracing paper. And the tracing paper are the pockets. If you go to the video, let me just have a little look on the channel where I did the ephemera. Can I easily see? Fold out, transfer. Oh, I can't easily see without opening up. Oh, the wallpaper. That's right. We wallpapered that prompt. So wallpaper, the 8th one. That's only a couple of days ago. My goodness, crazy. That's why I needed time out today, which is not today. It's yesterday. Remember? Oh, forget about it. So, piece of tracing paper, and I cut a heap of strips, and they are going to be glued and stitched into position. Now I have cut them so that they will fit the thinner strips, which were the 1.5 inch ones. Let me just get my thoughts together. When they're cut in half, because they're 7.5 long, that should be enough to do 4 pockets. Yeah, 4 pockets. So if I fold that in half and snip it, that strip, so 1.5 inches wide, cut in half on either side of my page, will do 4 pockets. Does that make sense? This is if you use tracing paper and you want to get the maximum strips out of your tracing paper. And if you watch that video, I actually lay these down on the tracing paper. Oops, I've jiggered it. Why doesn't that work? Because there's only 3 pockets on the page. 1, 2, 3. Oh goodness, see? 1, 2, 3. So I've cut a strip that I shouldn't have cut, but we'll use it, doesn't matter. This is the right strip. Fold it in half and then cut it. That's the next lot of pockets. Now you can use 3 pockets. It does work, but I find that you then got to have really small things in the top, and then they're really hard to get out. So then you sort of put bigger things there, and a lot of my little bits in this are bigger. So now they're hanging out the top. So you could do, but they're perfect for those. So you can use 3, but they're like tiny, tiny little labels. So just take that into consideration. You might only want 2. Now in the strips, there is a couple bigger pieces. So these bigger ones can be used for the 2 pockets. So I'll do 3. I won't change the system. Oh, will I? Yeah, no, I'm going to just use the 2. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is just glue them down. Will I use 2? Yeah, I will. Because that's left me 2 strips. And then I'm going to put the same strips on the other side so that when I seam it down, stitch it down on the sewing machine, they will catch the ones behind as well. Does that make sense? It will when I show you. So just a little bit of art glitter glue. You will see the glue through the paper. It is a bit of a shame because I don't like seeing glue but you want it to hold. So between stitching and gluing, look, just glue it. You don't want the things sort of moving and coming off. Let it dry before you do sew it. Otherwise you'll get glue through your sewing machine. You could hand sew it. That'd be fun. But just run it through a sewing machine. Glue would probably hold it okay, but I don't know. I prefer the sewing as well. Plus it looks really good. I'm just going to measure from the bottom where this pocket will sit, so I know then it's right on both sides. Okay, the bottom of the pocket can go at 2.5. Okay, so let me move this up a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I've just got my card sitting there on there. I'm going to mark the bottom edge at, where will I do it? Yes, 2.5. So I'm just going to put a little mark there, a little mark in the center, 2.5, a little mark over here, and that will give me a guide of where the bottom of my little I was going to say shelf. It's not a shelf, it's a pocket. Where the bottom of my pocket needs to sit. So that way when I flip this over, they will line up. And then when I sew it, it'll make sure I catch it. Okay. That is looking good. Now one more. Now when I sew it, I'm going to go all the way around the outside of each page. Then I'm just going to come across the bottom of each pocket, just straight through. And that will secure everything into position on both sides. There's heaps of videos out there where these are made. I've seen people make them before. I haven't made one for ages, and then I end up buying some from a lady in Australia who made some big ones, and these were little ones inside, and I tend to use these little ones inside a lot. So I'm just going to mark that 2.5 again. 2.5. So I make them all the time. I haven't made one for a little while, but because I've been sewing, I've been doing so much sewing, which is good. I'm so pleased that the sewing and the junk journal world do collide, because yeah, I love it. Okay, they will be now ready to go. So let's glue them into position. And then once this is stitched around, I will stop the video and go and do that, because you'll be waiting a little time. I'll need to adjust the stitch too, because I nearly switched that around. Be careful, don't do them upside down. The zigzag stitch that I'll use, I'll need to shorten it up a little. Otherwise it'll be too big for the space that we've got here. So I'll have to have a little think about how I do that. Have a little play. So that'll take a moment, and then I will stitch them, and I will be back to show you the page finished. I don't think I'll do a second page in here. I don't want it to get too bulky. And if this one was just, say, for the Tracey labels, it'd be more than enough. I could do the coloured ones and the plain ones, and then I'd rather make another one that has other things in it, like stamps and miscellaneous items, because as you've seen already, I'm using one that I already had, and I cut everything out and filled it up. So I sort of have a bit of an idea of how it will come together when I load the pockets up. I'm trying to get a very fine line of this art glitter glue, otherwise it just oozes everywhere. So I've got a few cut, like I think I can make 2 easily of these little books. Now there's nothing stopping you just using this and not doing this decorative piece inside and just putting the strips, and that's it. You could more than able to do that. But for interest's sake, I'm going to have a second page in my little book, and then we'll stitch it in and make it all swanky. But you can certainly make them smaller. You could make them concertina. So I've still got some pieces left to make some more little pockets. I've got the 2 pieces that I jiggered up and cut, but that doesn't matter. They could just be a little pocket in the front somewhere, wherever. We can make another one as well. All right, so I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to jump on my sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch all the way around the outer edge. I'm going to stitch down here. That'll secure the sides, and then I'm just going to do a stitch across there and there, because that will be caught when I go around the perimeter. Okay, everyone, I will stop the video and I'll be back in a moment. See you soon. Okay, I'm back and everything is stitched down already and holding everything into position. So I'm just going to fold it now. That will go into my little booklet. Could do with trimming it a fraction because it's just sticking out a little bit, but that's all right. I'll just run that through my cutter. Hang on a moment. That's better. That's good. So that's looking great. Now it's a case of stitching it into my little booklet. So I'm just going to push it into that seam, into the fold. Grab some clips, paper clips, bull clips. A little box of tricks here for stitching in signatures into journals. And that will just hold it. That bull clip in there. Oh, there's a little one. It's like overkill. Grab my book awl. Everything's up the right way. Yes, yes. Grab my, to make some incisions. So we'll be precise and we'll measure it, because, might as well, we've gone this far. So 5 is 2.5, and then there's another half. So that's about the middle there. And then we will come, say, 1 inch down from the top and 1 inch down for the bottom. So I've got 3 marks for 3 holes. So now it's just a case of poke the hole. And if you haven't done this before, don't forget to keep it folded like I have here, because otherwise you're not finding the actual fold for your holes. So by keeping it folded in your hand, it ensures that your holes are in the right spot. So I'm just pushing that through a little bit more, because I've got calico on the spine. It's needs a little extra push through. And there's our 3 holes there. Okay, so now we need some thread. I have this linen thread that's really fine, and it's really too fine for journals, but it's perfect for these little projects. I bought it right at the very beginning before I sort of knew what I was doing and thought it was exactly what I wanted, but it is too thin. So I might come from this side because I want the knot to be on the outside when I finish. So, excuse me, I've come through and back down and through. I'm sure you all know this, you're journal makers, so I'm not showing you anything you don't know, I don't think. But there might be a newbie there that's going, oh, is that what they mean by pamphlet stitch and stitching in a signature? They're the words that we'd all be using. So that's good. I've got it either side of my crossing thread there so that I can knot it. But I don't want to waste any of this thread, even though I'm not a lover of it. So I'm just going to shorten it all up a little bit. You can cut your thread and then, you know, stitch it in, but I tend not to because you never know, you might need a little more than what you think. If you did want to cut it, the rule of thumb is three times the length of your page, and then cut your thread. So I guess if you had a scrap of thread and you were wondering if you had enough, 3 times the height of your book or your journal is the length that you need to actually do this. So now I'm just knotting it. I'm going to do 3 knots. I do 2 knots the same as you would, just over and under and pull it. But the 3rd knot, instead of doing what I would normally do, you know, just due to instinct, I tend to take the right thread over and knot it. I change the way I do the knot, and I come from the other side, if that makes sense. Just so that you got 2 knots that are like this, the 3rd knot's like that. It just helps secure everything. Okay, so that is stitched in, and our little booklet, trim that off, is done. Now I think I will need 2 for this journal, but I won't make that now. We'll save that for a day when there's nothing inspiring in my prompts, and we'll make another one. We might make it a little bit different, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I'm pleased that that's finished. There's my little box of tricks. Put that away. Okay, there we go. My ephemera folder is finished. Love it. So now I can transfer into this little folder. I'm thinking I'll put all the Tracey labels in. Love it. I won't do that all on camera because that's a little bit boring, but and for those of you wondering what these Tracey labels are about, in my description I refer to Love Junk Journals Tracey. She is the queen of labels, and she actually had some Japanese ones, so I was tickled when I saw them because I'm a bit of a fan, and I have the normal labels that everyone uses, and they have just, you know, plain or general words on them. So it was really cool to see that she had, you know, these little ones as well that were Japanese. So I can now pop all my labels. See, 2 little pockets is more than enough. You can do 3, or you can do anything. So I might keep all of the Tracey labels on this front pocket. Then I will go through my other ephemera folder, and I'll leave those for the next one, I think. See, I had rabbits in here and they got pushed to the back, so the rabbits will get their folder back sooner rather than later. And I'm just looking. This is a big version of that style. This was for the one I bought. This is my Christmas one, so that's no good to me. I've got a few of them. And I just love them. I've got one for butterflies, one for Christmas, one for flowers. I've made a few myself, and it really helps to keep things organised. Here we go. Here's some more labels of Tracey's that are plain. So I'm just going to go through and grab a few plain ones, slide them in. I don't need green. I don't have a lot of green in my journal. Slide a few random labels, some little ones. I could probably print some out, but these are cut, ready to go. I'm going on holiday. I need things to be at my fingertips as I pack. Oh, well, that ain't the case, but anyway, I'm not going anywhere one day. Some of these brown ones, a few of those. They're neutral, so I like that. They're good for when you know, visit a place and you just want to put the name of something, of where you've been, if you've gone to a temple, and there's a photo going into your journal. What else have we got? Oh, some black ones. Okay, it's like packing my suitcase. A couple more blue ones. Lovely. And I'll probably use a few. I think that's it. Yeah, they're very, very European, the rest of them. Nature. Yeah, these are Tracey labels where she's written a word and then the definition. Could probably put a few of those. Nature. Yeah, let's pop them into. And then floral, because I'm sure I will see. I love going to the botanical gardens in cities. So I'll pop a few of those in. Woodlands. Yeah, Japanese gardens. Yes, yes. Saplings, seedlings. Definitely. I'm going to need another journal, another ephemera holder for sure. Let's put those. Let's grab them back out and put them in the front pocket that we did. It's only a little itty bitty one. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put some words. Grass, leaf. What else have we got? Branch. You know what? I should have them up this way so that I can actually read the word without having to pull too many out. I know Tracey has a new lot of labels that are good for fabric. A heath. No, that's English. I did a tree, forest. Yep. Love it. What have we got here? These are just random. Oh, some of those are nice, but I don't think they're very Japanese. No. Nope. It needs to go in there. So you can see from this, it's the same principle where she has stitched the pockets in place and made signatures according. So you can really make your ephemera folder, you know, any size. There's some different ones. Pop a few of them in. Treasure, inspire, bloom. Oh, yeah, now we're talking. What's that one? Wonderful, adjective, beauty, cherish. Now we're cooking. Home, inspire, dream, flowers. Special, bloom. Oh, it's like I've hit the treasure. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I might put a couple of those in because you might go into a museum. So a little ticket to say that you've gone in to something. Admit one. Okay, that's enough. Oh, journal. Do I need the word journal? Yeah, what the hang? Chuck it in. Who knows? It's hard to know what I will need, but I will probably need it all. So as you pack your suitcase, you can imagine you've also got to put a craft room in like you do. Okay, everyone, that's it. That is completed. A lovely little ephemera holder ready to slide in my journal with all of my little labels. And I still have a little pocket here for anything that I want to slide in there. Actually, I just had an idea. No, I'll save that idea because it refers to the packing list that I did in the video just before, which is take some thread. So I was thinking I could put in a something to hold thread, but I think I need more space than this. This is more for labels and things. Okay, I'll stop the video. That's enough. And I'll see you all shortly in the next video. Thank you. Bye.